All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another edition of HSM Talks. Let's see who all is live online. So we are way above 100 already. This is going good. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes and people to join in. Avneet Arora, Ekta Thakkar, 79 others. It says Sadhvi Gupta, Jyoti Vij, all of you who have been supporting High School Moms Movement and International Alliance of Counselors and Educators. Thank you so very much for doing the needful, because without your support, I don't think I would have had the audacity to come and talk to you at such an ungodly hour. And I already see comments coming in into the StreamYard. Jyoti Vij says, hello, sir. This is Anam Vij. All right. So that's the daughter from the mother's handle. Ekta Thakkar says, hello, good evening. All right, great. So everybody who is listening to us, please do allow StreamYard to access your name. Otherwise, your comments do not reflect into my interface. I can already see way above 500 and slowly climbing. I am very sure by the time we are into 5 minutes of our conversation, we'll be touching our magic number, which is 1000. Today, it's not a normal day. Today, we have two young souls who are out of this country, staying in a foreign land, enjoying the experience at one of the finest universities in Europe, and we're gonna grill them, because this is that generation that has been grilling me left, right, and center ever since I became a career coach. So I am going to take it out on them tonight, and I'm going to ask them some difficult questions, and let's see if they are able to answer it. Apart from them, we do have one of the representatives from the university. So just wait for a couple of more minutes, and we'll be live. And Jyoti Vij is saying, Anam is saying, nice to see you in Delhi face to face. Thank you, Anam. After Delhi, the very next day I did Bangalore. We had over 400 parents and students attending my face-to-face session, in-person session. And that too after COVID. It was a beautiful experience. I just came back from Bangalore today morning, and I can't tell you how excited I am, whichever city I'm traveling to. And when I ask the audience how many of them know me, and they tell me almost like 70% of them actually come to meet me in person, even after watching me on live every night. It's like really weird, because my own son refuses to see my face once he sees us during one day. So he doesn't see my face twice. So if people are coming to actually meet me and see me after watching me on live so many times, I can't tell you how good I feel. All right. So we do have Lewis Stanton, International Student Experience and Global Officer Manager for Trinity College, Dublin. And she handles the student experience at TCD. We have Tanmay Nath, one of the students at TCD, and Preetam Sangvi. They're coming on your screens right now. There you go. Good evening, kids.
Hi.
And
it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to host you, all three of you. All right, let's quickly get into the discussion. It's a fireside chat. Expect some very impromptu questions, and I want very candid answers. Tanmay, first question to you. Between me and Lewis, we'll figure it out why we are going to the students first and why we are not talking. So first question to the student first. You're there in Dublin right now in Ireland.
Yeah.
What time is it there?
It's 4:30.
4:30. Okay, so you are GMT and I am GMT plus 5:30 almost. Okay, super. All right. How does it feel to be in Dublin, Tanmay?
I mean, in retrospect, it feels great. I mean, at the current during the current times, with COVID and all, of course, it's not as good as it used to be, but still, I mean, in a few words, if I have to describe it, it's great.
It's great. Preetam, over to you. How does it feel to be in Dublin right now? And I can see Indian flag right behind you. Proud Indian you are, and it makes me feel really awesome to have that flag flashing on the screen right now. And Tanmay also has an Indian flag. Very good, super awesome. And okay, so she has a green on
Or
her.
some green today as well.
Super. Preetam, over to you. How does it feel to be in Dublin right now?
Amazing, to be honest. It's a beautiful place. The weather is pleasant, and the people are amazing over here. So yeah, it's fun to be in Dublin, to be honest.
It's fun to be in Dublin. All right. To both of you, we as parents, I'm a father to a teenager. We as parents have this constant habit of telling our children that if you're going to a university, you're not supposed to do anything but study. Okay, especially Indian parents. Now, we as parents also forget that I don't know how much Lewis will be able to associate with this, but this is so Indian that when we go inside an engineering college, in our days, when we went inside an engineering college, our moms gave us a bottle of oil to oil the hair. All right. And she said that oil your hair regularly, otherwise your hair will turn gray before you turn old. By the time we graduated out with a bottle of vodka. All right. So that was our student experience. Okay. We entered with a bottle of hair oil, but we graduated out with a bottle of vodka. And as much as I should not promote this kind of a situation with current students, but that was the fact of the matter. I want to understand, what is the student experience at Trinity College Dublin? Before I go into ask you questions more about Trinity College Dublin, I just want to hear one by one, first Tanmay and then Preetham, without me jumping in. What is the experience like? What is the student life like? Because it's so important that apart from studies, you have clubs and associations and internships, which really matter a lot when it comes to a student experience at a university. And it should be multicultural, multi-ethnic. You should be able to make friends, and essentially for me, I always want that it's any place is a great place to study as long as the person on your left is a French and the person on your right is a German and person in front is an Irish and person on your back is a British, and you're getting that multicultural and multi-ethnic experience. Tanmay, explain me the experience at TCD.
So honestly, as you just said, a university means so much more apart from academics. And I have had that kind of an experience where I've really enjoyed my time over here. And I believe I've been able to perfectly manage my time between both academics and extracurricular activities and my social life as well at the same time. So Trinity in particular has a very rich society culture, as you also mentioned. So Trinity has some of the world's oldest student societies like the Phil and the Hist. And there is a society for everything, for anything you can imagine. We have a society of international affairs. We have a society for people who are interested in investing. We have a society for entrepreneurs. Then we have a society for sciences. And then we even have society for knitting. We have a vegan society. We have a game society. So there's a society for everything. And then there are many sports, like there's cricket, there's rugby, there's swimming, there's taekwondo, there are a lot of sports. So that way, Trinity has a very rich, extracurricular culture. Apart from that, of course, when it comes to academics, yes, like we have some of the most learned professors. We have industrial experts. We have, very modern kind of course syllabus, where there's a perfect blend of, historic readings with current trends. So that way, even the education is quite fun and challenging at the same time. Because, you have to it is a place which always, inspires you to give your best at whatever.
Wow. It's a strong statement. It's the place that inspires you to give your best. All right, Tanmay, sorry, Tanmay, we'll have to cut short your answer because I want multiple perspectives here. Preetham, over to you. Your experience at TCD.
In a very simple term, it's a roller coaster, which once you get onto it, you will not want to get off. It's something which is so different from where we come from India, and it's something which is amazing for all of us with the opportunities, with the people you meet, and with the diversity over here in all terms, in terms of academics, in terms of student life, and in terms of day-to-day experiences. So in a whole sense, I don't want to get off this roller coaster, and unfortunately, I will have to get off this roller coaster after a few months. But this is one roller coaster, or one journey, or one experience which every student should have. And coming back to your question, where you said that all Indian parents say you have to study, once you enter Trinity College Dublin, you will realize that you cannot study all the time because there are so many other factors over here. You meet people, you learn with people, and moreover you grow. You join societies. You, like, for example, I work with the global relations over here, and I'm working as a marketing intern also, but I'm studying engineering. So I spread my arms out. I've gone into the whole different diverse areas over here. And that's helping me learn what I cannot just learn by reading books or doing my practicals.
Absolutely. And it's so true. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please understand what this young kid is talking about. He is studying to be an engineer, but he's trying to be interning as a marketing intern. It is so important to understand that your and my kids will not change 5 jobs. They'll change 5 careers. And interdisciplinary skills for the 21st century are the need of the hour. Look at me. I have already changed 2 careers. From the corporate, I'm an alumni from University of California, Los Angeles. From the corporate to becoming a career counselor. You know, the skills that are required are possibly same to succeed in every career. It is networking, it is communication skills, your critical thinking, your analytical skills. And that's what you learn at a great campus once you participate in various activities. So if you are thinking of sending your children abroad, especially to Trinity College Dublin, take one thing from me in writing. You need to allow your child to participate in as many activities and as many clubs and as many associations as possible. It is not always about academics. Coming back to Lewis Staunton, let's get the perspective of the university here now. 2 kids thoroughly enjoying their experience at Trinity College Dublin, one of the oldest universities in Dublin, one of the largest, one of the most reputed in Europe, maybe across the globe as well. I'm aware that you have a E3 concept coming or E2 concept coming, something like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'll definitely like to know more about it. But what does it take for an student experience officer at the university? What are your thoughts when you curate activities, when you create events to just purely enhance a student experience? What is the university thinking? I want to know that.
Well, it's a great question. And I think Preetam and Tanmay have really spoken very well about what we expect and what the kind of things that we provide. And they're a marvelous example of exactly what we are trying to do through all of our activities. So I think a huge part for us as Trinity, we are an ancient university as well. We're what are we? So around 450 years old at this point. So a very old university. But what we're about in 2021 is developing the student as a whole person. So as everyone has said, we're not just looking at the academics. It is about expanding yourself, going outside your comfort zone and looking at how all of the different activities in terms of clubs and societies and different experiences, including work experience, how that comes together to develop you as a person and to make you, I suppose, to turn you into a person who can go in a number of different directions in your career and in your life. So a lot of the experience is focused on, you know, really encouraging that we are about developing the academic, the personal, but also the cultural side of people as well, and the social side. Because as you said, and as Preetam and Tanmay have said, it's really important to be able to communicate cross-culturally. We live in a global world. As Preetam said, you know, he's working as a marketing intern, he's studying engineering. Tanmay, I know, has been doing some interning jobs as well in various different types of companies as well, because he studies business. And it's just really important to be that fully rounded person. And that's what we're always trying to encourage through all of our activities. So, for example, we really encourage our students to get involved in societies, not just to attend the events, but to be an actual participant. So to get involved in the running of a society, the setting up of a society. If you identify there's a gap, for example, you know, to look at setting one up, but to get involved in the leadership. And sometimes I've had, you know, I'm thinking of one particular Indian student who was talking to me about developing his CV, his resume recently. And he was saying that he said, you know, I haven't got that involved in clubs and society so far in Trinity because I've been really focusing on the academic side of things. And I said, but what are you involved in? And then he said, well, you know, I'm on the American Football Club. And I said, okay, so you're involved in that. And what do you do? And he said, I'm on the team. And then I said, so that means you have to show up on time to go to your practices. You have to communicate as part of a team if you're on a team, you know, and all of that. So all of a sudden he was going, oh yes, these are skills. You know, this shows commitment, it shows interest, it shows being able to manage your time because you're able to manage your academics and also the social side of things. So sometimes it's just about seeing what you're getting involved in more broadly. We also provide, for example, a lot of support to our students. And maybe I'm talking for too long as well, so let me know if I'm talking too much, because I want to let the students come back in. But we have a careers service that is hugely important, and I know that we really encourage our students to use it. So to go and get advice on, writing their CVs and preparing themselves for the types of jobs that they might get in the future. And of course, as the student said, it's a really diverse campus at Trinity. We have students from 120 different countries. So if you think about it, it's a marvelous environment to be in, because all of a sudden you're just exposed to people from everywhere and anywhere, which is a great environment to study in and to work in.
Are you ready to recruit a student or at the age of 41 who is a pretty well-known career counselor in this country for a bachelor's program, because he just wants to live another 4 years of bachelor's at Trinity College Dublin?
I think I might have an idea who you might be referring to. Yes, I'm sure we could recruit you. We absolutely always take on mature students, so you're more than welcome to come as well. We'd be delighted to welcome you.
Thank you so much. Before we go to another question to these two inspirational and inspiring kids, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is that time that I really want to make an announcement. Trinity College Dublin happens to be one of the supporting partners for the upcoming Global Ed Connect Summit. It's happening on March 19th and 20th. 19th March is for educators, teachers, principals, counselors. And 20th March is for you and me. It is for the parents and the students. Come join us on 20th March. It's a virtual event where you will not only meet Trinity College Dublin, but you will be able to meet 49 other leading universities from across the globe. And you can ask them all the difficult questions that you want to ask about admissions, about fees, about scholarships, about student experience, about life, about visa, about anything that you want to ask, or about the optional practical training at the end of the course. So ask all the difficult questions to all these 50 leading universities. The link to join and register for this summit, and it's absolutely free of cost for all the parents and the students. The link to register for it is right there in your Instagram bio of highschoolmoms.community. It has been plastered across all the Facebook pages and Facebook groups daily. So just scroll up and down and you'll be able to find the link to register. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank Louis, Tanmay, and Preetham for being the supporting partners, because all three of you are representing Trinity College Dublin today, for being the supporting partners to Global Ed Connect Summit. You do not know, your support matters a lot. High School Moms today reaches out to 4 million parents and students on a weekly basis, over 3,000 principals and school counselors and university reps. Your support goes out to empower the last mile, the parent and the student, so that they do not take an emotional decision, but they end up taking an informed decision, which is so very important. All right, coming back to the two inspiring kids here. And my question this time is for Preetham. Preetham, the biggest concern as a parent, and I'm sure your parents also had this concern before you landed in Dublin, is the student accommodation, lodging and boarding, is about the food. Now, I want to understand from a perspective of an Indian vegetarian student. I understand when Tanvay said that there is a vegan society. What about people like me? I mean, if my kid has to go, he is a staunch vegetarian, all right? An absolutely die-hard vegetarian. He would not eat non-veg. So a little bit about accommodation on the campus and a little bit about the food and everything.
Coming to the accommodation, when I arrived at the airport, I knew nothing, honestly. This is my first time landing in Ireland. This is my first time in Dublin. I knew nothing. And there was a helpful lady over there. She was from Global Relations. She was waiting for us. She was receiving all the students on a rolling basis over there. We met her outside. Yes, so we met her outside. She gave us a bag over there, and she was like, that you can find your taxis over there. You can take your taxis and just tell him this place. The taxi guide will know where to drop you. We arrive at the Trinity halls. That is the accommodation which we get for the new year, the first year students. Over there, it was a simple check-in, no issues, no hassle, and there you are in your accommodation. You checked in, and that's it. It's done within hours. And coming to your food, you come to Ireland. There is no mess system over here like we have in India. There is no in the house cooking or something. So you have to make your own food. You are given a kitchen in your whole apartment. And you also have places where you can order food from. And coming to your point, Abhishek, I'm a Jain. So I don't eat non-veg at all. I don't eat any egg. I don't eat anything. And we cook our own food. And honestly, it's very easy to cook food over here. It's very easy. You need to know some basic skills, and that's it. You get everything. And pretty much it's a good experience. It's an amazing experience. And the best part of the whole package is that you're taught how to be independent. You're taught how to live without being dependent on a third party, being dependent on a chef or even a maid, because you have to do everything on your own over here. And that is something which has taught me a lot, helped me a lot, and I would honestly recommend every student does that rather than going to a hostel where everything is provided to you in a plate and all you have to do is eat. It gives a different satisfaction when you make your own food, when you eat it, and you cannot complain if your food is bad because you made it. Now you have to eat it.
Super, super. This is wonderful. Tanmay, coming to you. The next concern that we as parents have, and I want student perspective to this. I don't want Lewis to come in. I want a very fair perspective. The second concern that we have is about medical services. What happens should my child fall sick, right? Especially now in the post-COVID era, all of us are scared. So how about the health and the medical services around the campus?
So firstly, I think what we as Indian students should understand is that the medical system works in a very different way as compared to India. Like you can't just, walk up to a doctor's place at any time and, just get an appointment then and there. You have to take an appointment in advance, or if you have an emergency, then there are these emergency slots. So Trinity has a Trinity Health Center, which is right in the center of the campus, and it is free of cost for the consultation is free of cost for all the students.
Wow. Okay.
Basically, if you have any issues, you can always take an appointment, ring them up. Usually during normal times, like these days, they're only doing virtual appointments, but normal times you'll usually get an appointment for, say, a week later, or depending on the traffic at the Trinity Health Center. But then they have these two emergency slots in a day. I think one in the morning and one in the afternoon, where you can just queue up and you can go and get yourself seen by a doctor. So that is the system which is quite prevalent over here. Like, because the local students over here have their own GPs and they're registered with the health system and everything. But like we usually have to go through the Trinity healthcare system. And of course, if there's a dire emergency, where there's an urgent situation, you can always call up the ambulance. And then that's the normal routine emergency.
So basically, there is a health services inside the campus which takes care of pretty much everything in a normal day-to-day scenario. And that's pretty much what is required, which is wonderful. So food is sorted, accommodation is sorted, health services and medical system is sorted. Let's come back to Lewis now, and let's talk a couple of more difficult questions. Lewis, as much as I'm a pretty well-traveled person, what I understand about Dublin is definitely it's a beautiful place to be. It's something like a corporate hub of Europe, really coming up well, much more diverse than any other European country. Very well known for biomedical engineering and finance and banking. Help me understand, what are the kind of internships, because they also become a part of a healthy student experience at a campus. What are the kind of internship experiences an engineering student or a business student can actually look up to, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, as you correctly said, Ireland is very much seen as being the Silicon Valley of Europe, because so many, particularly US multinationals, are based in Dublin, just a stone's throw really away from the Trinity campus. We have massive international companies like Facebook, Twitter, Airbnb, several of the financial companies have their headquarters here as well. So yes, our careers service is there to provide a huge amount of information on internship opportunities for students. So what will happen is there are certain internships that are built into programs, but then for programs that don't have that, Students are encouraged to make appointments to see a specific career advisor at our career service, and they can get advice on the kind of internships that are out there. And there are a lot, because as I said, there are so many of these multinationals located within the country. But I always actually remember something that Tanmay said at one of our events that we had for students, I think it was around last year, where he was talking about the fact that, yes, it's great, and Tanmay, you can add to this in a second if you want. He was saying it's great that we have all these multinationals in Dublin, and a lot of students try to get into those multinationals. But he made a very good point. There's also a lot of startups, and that's a really good environment to get into as an intern, because it means you get in on the ground floor and maybe get to do things that you wouldn't get to do if you joined a multinational. Multinational will look amazing on your CV, but I think that was a really great point, Tanmay, if you want to maybe add to that, because I loved when you made that point. It really made sense. And I think you did that yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, so just to add on to what Louise said, so usually people get internships over here in their penultimate year, which is the year, which is the summer before they enter their final year, the summer of the third year, after the third year. Because usually what happens is those internships convert into a contract, a permanent full-time contract for after you graduate. So like in my case, like I wanted to do an internship after my second year, and I applied to all these, big firms, and, all of them got back to me saying that they prefer hiring penultimate year students as an intern. Because over here, interns actually do a lot of work, and they're paid quite well for doing that work. So that is why they prefer students, who have some amount of, skills, experience, and knowledge, not in that particular field, but in general. So what I did, I started searching for, these startups and everything. And there are few startups in Dublin. And some of them have even been, started by Trinity students themselves. And they are always looking for interns because they are low on budget. So they cannot pay you the handsome stipends which the big companies do, but you get first-hand experience over there, and you are involved throughout the cycle of the startup over there. Like you're involved with the top management and the bottom management and everyone in these startups. So you get a very realistic experience of how a company is built in these startups. And even though you won't be dealing with any big shots or big clients over there, but you'll be dealing yourself, like at times if you're interning with a startup, you might be meeting prospective clients and trying to sell your business to them. So that way it boosts up your confidence up to a great level. Interning with a startup is something which I experienced.
Wonderful. All right, coming to both of you again, and this is my last question before we wrap it up. Preetham, one reason why you would miss Trinity College Dublin as your campus and as your alma mater. And Tanmay, you are next.
The overall experience, I don't think I'm ever going to get so many opportunities and such a diverse experience anywhere else I go. It's unless I go for further education. But as a college, as an undergrad, over here, the one thing I'm going to miss over here is just the whole experience. It's a whole package. I cannot say I'm going to miss academics. I cannot say I'm going to miss friends, because overall, they all together, combined together, they make Trinity College Dublin. It's not just for academics, or it's not just one society which makes it Trinity College, and it's the whole package. So I'm going to miss the whole experience as such.
I'll give you a mantra of life for your alma mater. It's not the end right now. Once you are with TCD, you are there with TCD for life, right? And that's the principle you need to graduate out with. That's the learning that I want to give you, because if you pass out and if you become successful, you definitely need to contribute back to your college, both in terms of knowledge sharing, experience sharing, maybe hiring people from the campus, or contributing back in terms of funding. But once you are there with your alma mater, you are there for life. And that's the mantra that you need to possibly pass out with, Preetham. Tanmay, over to you. One thing that you're going to miss about Trinity College Dublin.
I think I would completely agree with Preetham. Like the overall essence of the college, like, I mean, my friends, the good times I've had over here, all the fun, like the balls we've had, and just the overall experience, societies, even the classes, even the jokes we've cracked. And I can also give you a glimpse of something, the beautiful campus. Like I'm privileged to live on campus. So That's the
Whoa.
Trinity College campus, which I'm also going to miss.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, these are two inspiring kids, Tanmay Nath and Preetham Sangvi from Trinity College, Dublin. They are right there in TCD right now. And Tanmay just gave us a virtual tour of the campus, though it wasn't enough, but we loved it, Tanmay. Lewis, your parting comments before we wrap the show.
My parting comments would be to say that, you know, I'm incredibly proud to work for an institution like Trinity, but I'm also incredibly proud of Tanmay and Preetham, because I've known Tanmay for 4 years now and Preetham for 2 years. And I can tell you that these two young men have grown as over the couple of years that they've been at Trinity, and they are practicing what they are preaching. They're not just saying the words that they have developed. They have developed. I have seen it happening before my eyes. Because as part of my role in Trinity, I'm also an assistant warden at our campus accommodation at Trinity Hall, which is one of our campus accommodation for first year students. So I've known these two young men since they came to Trinity, and I can 100% say that I have seen that growth within them. And you know, they are speaking the truth when they say that Trinity has really inspired them to be their best. And I'm inspired by things like this when I come along and I see the growth that they themselves have had over these past few years. So it's a joy. So we really hope that, you know, when students come to Trinity, they too will have that growth and that excitement about this new opportunity and this global experience by traveling to Trinity to take their degree.
I completely agree, because I don't think I would have been in the position to be live in front of over 1,000 people right now while I was in college. So I'm sure Tanmay and Preetham both have grown up in confidence. It is clearly visible. It is not easy, even if it is online. It is definitely not easy to talk to 1,200 people at one go. Beautiful it is, Tanmay and Preetham. Thank you so much for joining in. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's beautiful Lewis Staunton, inspirational Preetham Sangvi, and inspirational Tanmay Nath from Trinity College, Dublin. And if you really want to meet the experts from Trinity College, Dublin, March 20th it is, please register for Global Ed Connect Summit. The links are there in the Instagram handle of highschoolmoms.community, and they are also there all over on the Facebook pages and the Facebook groups. Please register, go out there, meet TCD, meet 49 other leading universities, and find the right fit for your child. But do remember, a university experience is not just about academics. It's about a whole lot more, like Preetham and Tanmay said. It's about societies, clubs, internships, and the friends that you make inside the university. That's what comprises of a university experience. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you, Lewis. Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you, Preetham. This was a wonderful experience talking to all three of you, and I look forward to stay connected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Avishek. Goodbye. Bye from Dublin.
Thank you.
See you again soon.